Gettysburg, day 1, 10 a.m. "24-year-old Lieutenant Colonel Rufus Dawes leads the 6th Wisconsin Regiment of the Iron Brigade. These are the crack troops of the Army of the Potomac. 420 volunteers from the western frontier. They faced down the Confederates at Antietam. They're rugged and battle-tested. The Confederates outnumber them 2-1, but Dawes and his men have them on the run. The retreating rebels find cover in a 600-foot railroad cut. The rebels now have the advantage.
I first mistook the maneuver for retreat, but was undeceived by the heavy fire, which they began at once to pour upon us from their cover in the cut.
For Dawes, retreat is not an option. Heroism runs in his family. His great-grandfather, William Dawes, rode with Paul Revere.
Of all the people that you didn't want to go up against on a battlefield like that was Rufus Dawes.
Just 175 yards to the railroad cut. It will cost Dawes 1 man for every yard they advance.
The whole field behind is streaming with men, plunging in agony, sinking to death on the ground.
In the noise and thick smoke, Dawes must rely on the regimental flags, the colors, to command his troops. But flags are a magnet for enemy fire.
Men were being shot by the 20s and 30s. But the boys crowded in right and left towards the colors and went forward.
Dawes loses 10 men carrying the colors in a matter of minutes. The Confederate flag is within the reach of his Iron Brigade men.
Corporal Eggleston sprang forward to seize it and was shot and mortally wounded. Private Anderson, furious at the killing of his brave young comrade, with a terrific blow, split the skull of the rebel who had shot young Eggleston. Into this deadly melee came Corporal Francis A. Waller, who seized and held the rebel battle flag.
Throw down your muskets!
The fight is over in less than 20 minutes. There are 600 rebel dead, wounded, or missing. Dawes loses nearly half his men.
He understands that his soldiers have to be inspired by his presence.
But Dawes's win at the railroad cut is the exception. All around Gettysburg, 28,000 rebel troops are overwhelming 20,000 Union soldiers. The Confederate force, 75,000 strong, is streaming towards Gettysburg. The Army of Northern Virginia is led by legendary battlefield commander Robert E. Lee. This is where they'll fight.
If you look at Gettysburg on a map, it looks like a wagon wheel almost, with the town in the center and all the spokes going out in all these different directions. The fact that Robert E. Lee and his troops ended up at Gettysburg was not what he wanted to happen at all.
Having won a string of victories across the South, Lee's army invades the North at the peak of its strength. On the northern edge of Gettysburg, Union troops are taking a beating. All that stands between the town and the rebel assault is the 11th Corps. Among them, Sergeant Amos Humiston, ex-whaler, father of 3. He enlisted after hearing President Abraham Lincoln's plea for 300,000 recruits.
Amos Humiston was like so many Union soldiers.
A bullet glanced off his ribs 6 weeks ago at Chancellorsville.
All I ask is I can die in battle like a man. But I hate the idea of dying here like a hog.
The odds are against him. Battering the 11th Corps from a hill above town is Lee's newly appointed Lieutenant General Dick Ewell. Tenacious, eccentric, profane. Ewell lost his left leg fighting the Iron Brigade last summer at the Second Battle of Bull Run. Now he's out for revenge. A month ago, Robert E. Lee's legendary second-in-command, Stonewall Jackson, was killed in battle. Ewell replaced him. It's a lot to live up to. But today, Ewell has the Union on the run. After suffering 9,000 casualties, Union soldiers retreat from Gettysburg. Humiston has orders to cover the retreat. But they're under heavy fire. By 4 p.m., his units outflanked and fall back into town. But they've got nowhere to go. Ewell's Confederate troops are spreading out through the town. It's a rout for the rebels. Amos Humiston is surrounded. He's in for the fight of his life. The Army of Northern Virginia is on a roll, mowing down Union troops with deadly precision. After just 10 hours of fighting, the Union's retreating. 9,000 already killed or wounded. The rebels are close to the victory Lee seeks.
Every battle that Lee fights, he just expended capital with no strategic effect. Lee knows the clock's ticking.
Sergeant Amos Humiston puts his life on the line covering the Union retreat. Confederate troops have overrun the town. Of the 270 men in Humiston's regiment, all but 18 are killed, captured, or wounded.